Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, Ahmed, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum Assalam, sir. I'm okay.
Okay, so Ahmed, in mathematics, the chapter which we started, actually we were supposed to, in your, as per your syllabus, as per your mathematics syllabus of half-yearly examination, it was square and square roots after quadrilateral, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will see how to cover that chapter. Okay. So in our previous class, we started the chapter coal and petroleum, right?
Yes,
And so
Yes,
far,
sir.
we talked about different types of coals. Okay, what are its utility? Okay, now I've got few questions for you guys here. Now, name some inexhaustible substances other than sunlight and air. What are they?
Sir, water.
Water. Very good. Water. Very good. You guys can see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. And Ahmed, what are some other resources? Like Arhan has answered water.
Sunlight.
Very good.
Oh, that's sunlight. Only.
Sunlight and air
Sir,
already mentioned in the question.
yes, sir. Yes, I just noticed. Is
Just stress a little bit. The answer is quite simple. Is it not soil?
yes, sir. Soil is also inexhaustible.
Yes.
And
Water, soil, sunlight, air. Right, guys.
yes, sir.
Under
Yes, sir.
soil, you can include rocks as well, etc.
Yes.
Now, which fuel is used for running vehicles? Wood, diesel, charcoal, or coal?
Sir, diesel.
Diesel. Right, guys. Now, which of the following is a natural resource here? See, the options are
Air.
given here.
Air.
Exactly. The rest are either processed or not natural
Unlimited.
resourced. Okay, they are
Unlimited.
exactly. So which of the following is a natural resource? That is the air. Although tea, cooked food, and toffee are also natural resources, but you see, cooked food, it is a processed form of natural resource, or tea or a toffee, they are processed form of natural resource. You know what is processed form? Like something which is
Yes.
not in raw state, that has been processed in
Yes.
industries.
Yes, sir.
Inexhaustible natural resource in nature are what? Are they limited, unlimited?
Unlimited.
They're unlimited. Very good. Which of the following is an exhaustible natural resource here?
Sir, forest.
Exactly, guys. That is forest. Very good. Okay. So we were talking about coal and petroleum. Okay. So as you guys know that coal is one of the fuels which is used to cook food. Okay. Apart from cooking food, it is used for a variety of other purposes. Right. So earlier in a
Yes, sir.
steam engines, it was used. Okay. So it was used in railway engines to produce steam to run the engine. Now it is also used in thermal power plants to produce electricity. Okay.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we were basically talking about how coal was formed here. Okay. You guys read this paragraph. Let me just grab the mouse. Okay. I will be back in a minute. You guys just read this paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So how coal was formed, guys? Yes, what do you guys understood from this paragraph? Hello?
Sir.
Yes. Just let me connect to the meeting so you guys will be able to see me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So coal, how this was formed? Like I have got one question for you guys. Like, can we form these resources in laboratory? And if not, why?
No, sir.
Why we cannot form it?
No,
Because
sir.
What
when coals are natural resources and in laboratories, we usually make made by man-made, sir.
they are
And it takes
man-made.
years for coal. It takes years for coal to
Exactly. The limiting factor here is of time, right, guys? The thing that limits us here, it is actually the time. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So about 300 million years ago, the Earth had dense forest in low-lying wetland areas. Okay. Now, due to some natural processes, like it might have been flooding, the forest, all these forests got buried under the soil. Okay. And as more and more soil got deposited over them, they were compressed. Okay. Now, since they are being compressed, they are going to be submerged under layers of different under different layers. Okay. So due to that, they were exposed to tremendous amount of pressure, right, guys? And when they are
Yes.
exposed to pressure, it's obvious temperature will also be higher there. So the temperature also rose as they sank deeper and deeper. So as all the strata, all the waste material sank deeper and deeper under the soil, they were exposed to more pressure and high temperature. So dead plants slowly got converted to coal. Now, yesterday we guys talked about the term carbonization. What does this term carbonization mean? Yes, the term carbonization. What does it mean? It is simply the process
Uh,
of conversion of those dead wastes into what? Into carbon, right? You guys can see me now?
no.
I'm not
No, sir.
visible still.
Yes, sir. Not visible.
Now, yes, sir. Now you're visible.
All right. So carbonization is what? As coal contains mainly carbon. So the slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is called carbonization. Okay. So you see, coal is coming from different types of vegetations. Okay. So all these different types of vegetation, where they are, whether they are aquatic vegetation or vegetation found on terrestrial land, all of them contains what? Carbon, right? So hence, during these 300 million years, all these carbons found in them got converted into coal. Hence, this process is called carbonization. Okay. Now we also talked about how coal is a source of energy, because when you
Yes, sir.
burn coal in presence of air, you basically get heat. Okay. Along with heat, carbon dioxide is also released. Okay. Now, in some cases, if coal does not burn properly, instead of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide is released. Now, carbon monoxide, it is a very poisonous gas. Okay.
Yes.
It is a very poisonous gas. So if someone inhales this carbon monoxide in abundant amount, the person might die also. Right, guys?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, moving ahead, we talked about uses of coal. Quickly, you guys mention. Both of you are required to mention four uses of coal. Ahmad is starting from
Sir,
you. Mention. Okay, Arhan, you started. So mention four uses of coal.
in press or iron, in steam engines, and in cooking,
Yeah, steam engines. Earlier, it was used in steam engines. In cooking,
and in production of charcoal.
production of charcoal. That's it. Okay. Now, Ahmed, you mentioned four uses of coal.
Sir, coal is used for making uh, like industries. There, it is used and for
It is
cooking
used
in the
in
old age.
it is used in industries as a base material for many products.
Yes, and they are used also in perfumes
Perfumes, very good.
and also
You guys forgot the main use of coal. That is production of
Sir, coal tar
production
and
of
coke.
yeah, that are other products which are used, but mainly
coal
if
Yes,
you
sir.
under broad headings, production of electricity.
or electricity.
Yeah, production of electricity. Okay. And what else?
Sir, coal tar and coke.
Exactly. They are also used as base material and for manufacturing of so many different substances. So products of coal are used for a variety of other purposes. Okay. Like it might be used in construction work. Okay. It is used in medicinal work as well. Right. Okay. In the field of medicine, dermatologists also use certain compounds of coal. Right, guys?
Yes,
Okay. Now moving ahead, you guys need to know about the types of coal. Mainly, there are four different types of coal. They are anthracite, bituminous, subbituminous, and lignite. These are the four different types of coal found in nature. What are they? Anthracite, bituminous, subbituminous, lignite. You guys can add one more, that is peat here. Okay. So in anthracite, highest concentration of carbon is found. Highest concentration of carbon is found. While in the peat, lowest amount of carbon is found. So lowest concentration. So which one is going to be an efficient fuel here?
sir, anthracite.
No, no. Which one is going to be a better fuel?
Sir,
No, the one which has got higher concentration of carbon. So higher concentration of carbon means that when you will burn it presence of oxygen, it will release more heat. So more heat will be released, right, guys? So anthracite is the best quality of coal found in nature, while peat has the lowest concentration of carbon, so it is not a good fuel. Not a good fuel. Okay. Now, destructive distillation of coal. What does it mean here? You see, what does destructive distillation of coal mean here? You see, destructive distillation is a process in which coal is burned in the absence, it is basically treated in the absence of air. Okay, and byproducts are formed in this destructive distillation of coal. Those are coke, coal tar, ammonia, and coal gas. See here, this is basically destructive distillation of coal. Destructive distillation. Okay. So what are being obtained here? See, in this test tube, coal tar is being accumulated. Coal gas is being collected from here. Right. Powder coke has been collected in this beaker. Right. So by destructive distillation, you obtain different products of coal. Right, guys?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving ahead, just quickly have a look at the uses of these products of coal, like coal tar. See the figure, how it looks a very condensed thick liquid here. Okay, so coal tar is what? It is basically a black thick liquid with an very unpleasant smell and is used as a starting material for manufacturing various substances. The starting material means what? For manufacturing different products in industries, it is used as a base material, right? Like let's say if I were to manufacture a door, what is the base material required for a door? That is simply wood.
Yes,
Okay, so it acts as a starting material for manufacturing various substances in industries. Now, amazingly, it is a mixture of 200 different substances. So products obtained from coal tar are going to be useful for so many different purposes since it consists of 200 different substances, right guys? So in our everyday life and in industries, it is being used in our everyday life. Everyday life, it is being used in industry. So synthetic dyes are being made from it. What are dyes? Dyes basically they are colors, right? For drugs, that is for making medicines also. Coal tar is being used. Remember earlier we talked about how coal is used in the field of medicine also. So a product of coal, that is coal tar, is used for production of drugs as well. Explosives are also made from coal tar. Perfumes, as Ahmed mentioned, perfumes are also made from coal tar. Plastics, then paints, photographic materials, roofing materials. These are some of the varieties of substances that can be manufactured from coal tar. Okay, now interestingly, naphthalene balls used to repel moths and other insects are also obtained from coal tar. You all must be having naphthalene balls in your home. You guys know what is naphthalene ball? They are white in color,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
right?
we put them in the wash basin.
Exactly. We put them in wash basins. We put them under clothes also, because they are found to absorb moisture and they does not allow. They prevents the growth of moths and insects in the cloth.
Yes.
Okay, so the naphthalene is also obtained from coal tar. Now, do you guys experience some background noise?
No.
Okay. Now, next component obtained from the destructive distillation of coal, it was coal gas. So coal gas is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke. See this figure here. Coal gas is being obtained here, right, guys? So
Yes.
coal gas is also obtained here. So what is you see, it is used as a fuel in many industries situated near the coal processing plants. Okay, so the coal gas is being used in many industries which are situated near the coal processing plants. Remember, as I told you guys earlier, that coal gas was used for street lighting also. It was used in the London in the year 1810, and in the year 1820 it was being used in New York also. So see here, in street lamps also this coal gas was used as a fuel. Okay, so that is the utility of coal gas. All right, guys. Okay. Is coke. Now, what is coke here? It is basically, see the difference between a coal and coke here. See, a coal looks very tough here. It looks a very hard. It
Yes.
looks seems to be a very hard substance. While observe the image of coke here. Ahmed, you there? Yes, Ahmed, and Arhan as well.
Yes, sir.
Observe the image of this coke here. It appears to be porous in nature and softer than a coal. Right?
And it's the purest form of carbon, sir.
Yes,
It's the purest form of carbon.
exactly. Okay. So it is a tough, porous, and black substance. It is almost pure form of carbon. So it means 99% of carbon is found in coke. And coke is used in where? It is used in manufacture of steel and in the extraction
Tar.
of many metals. Right. So when you guys extracted. So there also coke is helpful in extraction of metals from their ores. Right, guys.
Excuse me, sir. Can you repeat?
You see, when you guys will move to senior classes, you guys will get to know about how metals are extracted from their ores. Ores are basically what? Ores are what? Like If you talk about aluminum,
Yes, sir, I know ores. There are a
yep,
lot of ores like
lot of
coal,
impurities in
iron.
them. See, aluminum, it is a metal, but in nature it is not found in pure form. So it is found along with other impurities in nature. So that is called ores. That is called ore. Okay. So this ore is consisting of aluminum, and the ore of aluminum, that is called bauxite. If you guys would like, you can remember the name of aluminum ore, that is bauxite. So in the
Yes.
extraction, we need to basically extract the aluminum ore present. Let's say this is a ore here. Okay, let's say it is a big piece of ore here. And we need to extract aluminum from here or some another metal. So in that case also, there are some metals. For their extraction, we take help of coke here. We take help of coke. So extraction of many metals, there also coke has been used. Now, moving on, we guys need to talk about petroleum now. Okay, so petroleum, we discuss about this also. So petroleum is what? It is basically a dark brownish thick liquid. Okay, so it might be brownish in color, it might be green also. It is a viscous liquid fossil fuel. What does the word viscous mean here?
Um, it
Anything that can flow, that is called viscous,
oh,
right? And it has got a very strong foul smell due to the
Yes,
presence
sir.
of sulfur in it. Remember this point here. It has sulfur is found in it, and sulfur gives a very foul smell that is not very pleasant. Okay, so due to presence of sulfur, it gives a very foul smell, and sulfur, and there are compounds of basically sulfur. Sulfur is not in pure form present in petrol. It is always found in compound form. Okay, so petroleum, it is commonly called as crude oil. Now the question comes, where does this petroleum word came from? So it is derived from a Latin word petra and oleum. What does the word petra mean here? It means rock, right, guys? So petra means rock. Okay, and oleum means what? Oleum means
Oil.
oil here. Okay, so it means that it is coming from a place of earth where there must have been rocks under the earth, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So this petroleum, as you guys will see in this figure here, see, there are two impervious rocks here. See this one here. See, this is the impervious rock, and this one is
Yes,
also
sir.
impervious rock.
okay, sir.
Impervious rock, and this one is also an impervious layer of rock, right? And as the name signifies here, petra means rock and oleum means oil. So oil must be coming in from in between two layers of impervious rocks. You see here where the oil is being found here. This is the layer of oil, and isn't it situated between two layers of impervious rock,
Yes,
right,
sir.
guys? The first, notice the this yellowish region, that is the impervious rock, and see the this reservoir rock, the red one, that is also a impervious rock. Impervious basically means basically through which it cannot penetrate, it cannot percolate. That's why it is called impervious rock. Okay, now where was the world's first oil well dug?
Sir, in Assam.
No, it was in Assam. It was actually in USA first. In India it was in Assam, that is correct. But in the world, when the question is about world, the first oil well was drilled in Pennsylvania, USA in the year 1859. Okay, so remember this interesting fact. Now, 8 years later, in 1867, oil was struck at Makum in Assam. Makum is a place in Assam. There, oil was found out in the year 1867. Now, in India, apart from Assam, there are some other places like there's Gujarat, there's Mumbai, right? So in those places also oils have been found. Okay, so it has been found in Assam. Apart from Assam, you have got Gujarat, Mumbai, High, and in the river basins of Godavari and Krishna, the oil wells have been found out. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving ahead, we guys need to talk about how refining of petroleum is done. Right. So first, let's talk about what do we mean by refining of petroleum. So what does it says? It is basically the process of separating the different constituents of fractions of petroleum, that is called petroleum refining. Like petroleum exists as crude oil. Okay. And in crude oil, there are different components found. Okay, there are different components found in the crude oil. Like you have got paraffin wax, you have got LPG gas, you have got petrol, you have got diesel, right, guys? So those components, the process of basically separating them, that is basically done in a refining, and that process is called petroleum refining. So see, these are the components obtained by the refining of petrol. Now, where is this refining done? It is done in a fractionating column. Okay, that is the figure here. We will talk about that. Now, what happens in a fractionating column? This is a fractionating column, or simply you guys can call it fractionating column. So notice here, how does the different components of the crude oil get separated in this fractionating column? So what happens here? There are components present in the crude oil which are having higher boiling points, and there are components that are having lower boiling points. So components with the with the higher boiling points are collected at the bottom of this fractionating column. Like see here, what is the temperature at the lower end of this fractionating column?
Sir, 400 degrees Celsius.
400 degrees Celsius. So substances like lubricating oil, paraffin wax, and asphalt, these substances have got a very high boiling point. Hence, they will accumulate at bottom of this fractionating column, and via this outlet, it will be extracted. And similarly, substances like butane, propane, and petrol and kerosene, they have got lower boiling point. Right, guys?
Yes,
Hence,
sir.
they will start to rise up, and from this hole, it will be extracted out. And notice how crude oil is basically it is being heated in a furnace, and from that furnace it is basically has been basically transported to this fractionating column, and there they will slowly evaporate from different holes. Right, guys? Got this thing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is how refining of petroleum is done. Okay, now you see the various fractions of petroleums and their uses, like petroleum gas, kerosene, petrol, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, bitumen, all of them have got different uses. Okay, so this will be your assignment as well. Okay, you guys are required to write down the uses of these different fractions of petroleum of this crude oil. Like petroleum gas, that is LPG. You guys already know where it is used. It is used for
Yes,
cooking
sir.
purposes.
Yes, sir.
Petrol,
Cooking.
it is used in different types of vehicles. Kerosene, it is also used for cooking purpose. Okay. Or diesel, you see, heavy engines, for running heavy engines, like engines of trucks. There you won't be using petrol, you will use diesel. And lubricating oil, wherever you need to reduce the friction between two objects or two components, you need lubricating oil. Paraffin wax, you guys know, that is used in candles. And bitumen is used as a base material for different substances. Okay, so your task is to list down the uses of all these components. And by the way, I completely forgot, Ahmed, how was your science, how your examination went?
Sir, it was pretty easy.
It was easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, very good. And if possible, send the questions to me. Okay.
The question paper, sir.
Your question paper.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Okay, you get the hard copy of the question paper now, or do they submit that also?
No. We get the copy of the.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, any updates regarding your exams, Arhan, in your school? When your examination is going to start? No updates. Miss Arhan.
Sir, actually, I went to my new school, and from 7 to 8, I am homeschooling.
Okay, okay. It's homeschooling.
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. Okay, now next thing we know about is natural gas. So this natural gas, if you see this figure here, okay, it basically accumulates over the crude oil. That is the gas here that is being taken out by the wells, right, guys? So that is the natural gas, and natural gas. If you talk about what is it, it is formed from dead organisms which decomposes in the absence of oxygen under conditions of higher pressure and temperature. Okay, so natural gas is formed from mainly aquatic dead plants and animals. Aquatic dead plants plus animals. Okay, so there were tiny aquatic plants and aquatic animals when they died and when their body decomposed in the absence of oxygen. Why there is absence of oxygen? See this figure here. Where are they being found? They are trapped in between layers of rocks here. So hence there's no availability of oxygen there. So their conversion, so the decomposition of dead plants and animals happen in the absence of oxygen. So when the decomposition was happening, the gases which are released from their body accumulated over the crude oil, and that is called natural gas. Yes, guys, got this?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Sarhan.
There was some space left where the crude oil was found. So why there is no presence of oxygen?
If there was some space left there, why there was no oxygen? Okay, because that oxygen, no, look, see, it is like this. This is your impervious rock. Okay, this is your water. All right, and then you have another layer of impervious rock. Okay, and in that water, first all the waste strata that was mixed in this water. Okay, so initially there was no space in here. There was no air here. Okay, it was all mixed in the water. During the course of millions of years, all these waste strata, they got converted into crude oil. Okay, and as we know, oil floats above water. So oil,
Yes,
this is water. The crude oil will start flowing over it. Okay, until now there was no space in between the crude oil and in between the impervious rock. Now what happened? Since there is no availability of oxygen here, we know that the decomposition of dead plants and animals happened further in the absence of oxygen, and further they got uh, gases started to release from their body. Okay, so gas is lighter, so hence it will create some space and it will start rising above, and oil was
yes, sir.
forced down. Oil was forced down. So that is how it happened. There was, although there was no space, but still, since the gases started rising from the decomposition of dead plants and animals, and we know that gas, it will, where it will be found, it will be simply found above the liquid material. So hence it is found above the crude oil, and it created a space there. Okay. Now CNG, it is natural gas. It is stored under high pressure. That's why we call this as compressed natural gas. So how are we supposed to transport this natural gas? How are we supposed to take this into our use? We are supposed to be compressing it again and again. It is used as a fuel for different purposes. The benefit simply is that it is a cleaner fuel. It does not leaves any residue when it burns. Right, guys? So
Yes.
what are the things we look for in a fuel? So in a fuel, we look for higher calorific value. Okay, higher calorific value. It is simply the amount of heat given by the fuel. We look whether the fuel leaves any residue after burning. Like if you burn coal, some ashes are left after burning the coal. So that is not a very clean fuel. If you burn coal, different types of smokes will start rising from it, like carbon dioxide is released. So we also check for whether it releases too many smoke. So when you will burn CNG, you will find that it gives a very high calorific value. It does not leave any residue, nor does it gives out any smoke. Okay, so its important lies in the fact that it can be transported through pipes also. Apart from being nature friendly, it can be transported easily from one place to another. Okay, and natural gas is stored under high pressure, hence it is called CNG. Okay,
Excuse me, sir.
now
Does
the great
CNG?
advantage of CNG is that it can be used directly for burning in homes and factories where it can be supplied through pipelines. Like if you have got another type of fuel like solid fuels like coal, you need to first ignite it with some other material. Like coal is not going to catch fire easily. Like ever try to burn a coal using matchstick? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No. So it needs some other fuels to burn the coal, while CNG can be burned directly. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Arhan.
Does CNG contains high amounts of carbon?
CNG. CNG
Yes.
it basically contains methane in it. Okay, and methane is CH4. So yes, it contains carbon in it. Okay, and there are some other components also in it. Propane is also found in it. Some amount of butane is also found in it. Okay, so but main thing you guys need to know that that methane is found in abundant amount in compressed natural gas. Right, guys?
It's
Okay, and the answer to your question, yes, it contains carbon, but that carbon is attached with hydrogen, and that is called hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon. Okay, so unless coal or any other fuel, it is not purely made up of carbon only. Okay, it is, but it exists in combination with hydrogen, and it is called hydrocarbon. Okay, now moving ahead, what are the various constituents of petroleum and their uses, as we talked earlier as well? Like petroleum gas in liquid form, that is LPG. Now, if what is the major constituent of LPG? That is butane. Remember this thing, guys. The major composition of LPG, that is liquefied petroleum gas, that is butane. Okay. Where is it used for fuel for home and industry? Petrol, kerosene, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, and bitumen. These are other components extracted from fractional distillation of petroleum. Okay, and this is your assignment for you guys also. Okay, you guys need to remember the names of the components obtained from petroleum, and you guys have to write the uses also and remember them as well. Bitumen, it is used as paint and for road surfacing also. So you guys ever saw how a road is being layered, how it is surfaced?
yes, sir.
Yes. So in road surfacing, bitumen is also used. Okay. Now, see, what does it says here? There's a question, interesting question. being posed by this person here. Okay, looks like a potato. Huh? Can coal, petroleum, and natural gas be prepared in the laboratory from dead organisms? No, their
No.
formation is a very slow process. Okay, and the condition required for the formation cannot be created in a laboratory. Like you can get the necessary environment, but how do you create 300 million years in a span of 1 or 2 days? That is not practical, right, guys? So hence
Yes.
we cannot create them in a laboratory. Now, some natural resources or most of the natural resources which we see in our nature, they are limited, right, guys? They are limited, and hence we need to use them in a very efficient way and in a sustainable manner. Okay, so some natural resources are limited. Like what are they?
Um.
Like
Coal,
coal,
petroleum,
yes, petroleum,
fossil fuels,
exactly. Coal, petroleum, compressed natural gas, right? LPG, coal, petroleum, LPG, or wood coming from
Coke.
the forest, coal. Yes, Ahmed. So these are
Coke.
not these are coke. Yeah, they are products of coal. You can add them as well. Coke, coal tar, right, guys, or coal gas as well. So these are the resources which are found in very limited quantity in nature. So we need to use them in a sustainable manner. Sustainable use. So what does sustainable use mean? Sustainable use basically means that utilizing resources in such a way that the requirements of present generation is also met and the needs of future generation is also taken care of. Like if I have got, let's say, 100 tons of coal reserves, so I need to use those 100 tons of coal in a very judicious manner. In a manner, let's say my need is of only 10 tons. So I need to conserve rest 90 tons of coal for future needs and for future generation. Okay. So that is the thing which we talk about in sustainable use. That is the use of resources in a judicious manner so that we can conserve it for future generations and meet our present needs also, right, guys? Present needs as well. Okay, now there are certain guidelines also issued how you guys we people can conserve fuels and natural resources at a personal level. Okay, so what are some of the measures we need to adopt to conserve different types of fuels? Yes, you guys list at least 3 or 4 examples where we can contribute in sustainable use of resources at a personal level. Yes, Ahmed is starting from you.
Uh, yes, sir.
What are the measures we need to adopt at a personal level, at an individual level, to contribute in the conservation of natural resources?
Um,
These are very simple, like turn off the fan when it is not in use,
oh,
right? Avoid wastage of water, etc. And so many different things. When you are driving the car, okay, when you are in a queue, when you are in a traffic, okay, so you can actually turn off your car, so you will be able to save your fuel. And we need to
yes, sir.
move to what? Renewable sources of energy.
so
Re-
practicing recycling,
Exactly, recycling, that will reduce the burden on natural resources. Recycling, reducing our consumption, recycling it, right? So we need to switch on to renewable sources of energy also, like we have got windmill, we have got solar power plants. Okay, so we need to move to windmills, solar power plants, so that there will be lesser pressure on the resources which are exhaustible in nature, right? So solar power plants are being planted across different parts of India and different parts of world, so that we have alternate source of energy, right guys? Because due to global warming, what is happening, the overall temperature of the globe is increasing, right guys? So temperature of the globe is increasing. Now hence people have got more and more air conditioners installed in their houses. So what is that leading to? More and more heat is being released into the atmosphere. Look, AC, the person which is sitting under the AC, it is very comfortable for them. But if you see the outlet from where the hot air is released outside, if someone walks across that, that is very uncomfortable, right guys? So
Yes,
the
sir.
air conditioners, just a small example here, air conditioners releases hot air into the atmosphere. And notice there are lakhs of air conditioner installs in people's house. So that is overall contributing to the heating of the globe. Okay, and you guys know about global warming effect. What does it mean? Basically, carbon dioxide is being released into atmosphere more and more. Now it has increased to 0.04%. That is the current percentage of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. So carbon dioxide is, what is the thing about carbon dioxide, that it is known to trap heat. It is known to trap heat. So see, this is your earth. Okay, now in the atmosphere of the earth, there are more and more carbon dioxide, and carbon
Yes, sir.
dioxide will trap the heat. So whatever heat is being released from the earth, the different activities happening on the earth, whether it's industry, whether it's from our houses, or different activities, that heat, it needs to escape from the atmosphere. Some amount of it will escape from the atmosphere. But what this carbon dioxide is doing, it is basically trapping that heat and locking it within our atmosphere. So this heat is not escaping from our atmosphere. So that leads to melting of polar ices. So in nearby future, the polar ice, you will see that it will lead, since polar ice are melting, it will lead to flooding of different areas. So many coastal areas, people living in coastal areas, coastal areas, people living in seashores, that is
Yes,
called
sir.
coastal areas. That region is called coastal region. So their life will be in danger. So global warming has led to so many has is posing threats to human survival. Okay, so we need to switch to renewable sources of energy, right? So what will happen if you switch to solar power plants? You will no longer need to burn coal for electricity production, right guys? So if you burn lesser coal, so carbon dioxide will not be released into the atmosphere, hence the heat will not increase, right guys? So the
Yes,
resources are limited, and we need to adopt alternate means of energy production, so that we are able to uh, uh, protect, so that we will be able to protect our environment. All right guys, so with this our chapter finishes here. You guys have any confusion regarding anything in this chapter?
no, sir.
Okay, so shall we move on to the MCQ portion of your answer exercise? See here,
Yes, sir.
the first question is, what are the advantages of using CNG and LPG as fuel? See, first question, LPG and CNG fuel. First thing, we know that they are clean fuels,
Yes, sir.
right guys? They have
And
got
they
high
do not
calorific.
produce any smoke or
Exactly,
any toxic gas.
no smoke is produced. Okay, and they also And they also do not leave any residue.
Yes, sir.
No residue left. Okay, name the petroleum product used for surfacing of roads. Yes, moments ago we discussed this. Ahmed and Arhan. Yes, guys. Notice this product here. Bitumen.
Sir, bitumen? Yes, sir.
That is bitumen. Okay. Describe how coal is formed from dead vegetation. What is this process called? You guys need to describe it. Okay, that is easy. What is this process called? Answer this one, this part of the question.
Sir, carbonization.
Carbonization. Yes, Ahmed? Is that the answer?
Yes, sir.
That is carbonization. Very good. Now fill these blanks here. Fossil fuels are dash, dash, and dash. What are the fossil fuels? Examples.
Coal,
Sir, sir, marine fish.
Yes?
Sir, marine
No, no.
fish
No,
and
no. It's fossil fuels, Arhan, not fossil. Fossil fuels.
Oh.
Yeah, Ahmed, you were correct there. Yes, continue.
coal, coke, and
No,
the
just under coal, coke, and coal gas and coal tar will come under coal types of
oh,
products of coal. Apart
petroleum,
from coal, petrol,
and
sir,
and
and natural gas.
natural gas. Very good. Okay. Process of separation of different constituents from petroleum is called
Sir,
yes. Remember, we had a fractionating column in which
yes,
the
sir.
components were being separated, and the
Yes,
process
sir.
was called fractional distillation. Right? That is FD,
Yes,
fractional
sir.
distillation. Right, guys? Least polluting fuel for vehicle is what?
Sir, CNG.
It is CNG. Very good. Okay. LPG, we cannot use it for vehicles. Remember this thing. Now, tick true or false against the following statements. Fossil fuels can be made in a laboratory.
For
False. Next one. CNG is more polluting fuel than petrol.
false.
False. Coke is
C is
almost pure
true.
form of carbon. Very good.
true.
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 Coal tar is a mixture of
True.
various substances. Very good. Almost there are 200 different compounds, different types of components found in coal tar. Kerosene is not a
Is
fossil fuel.
false.
That
False.
is false. Exactly,
False.
guys. Because kerosene is also obtained from crude oil. Okay. Okay. So with this, we conclude the chapter. Okay. Now the next chapter, as per your syllabus, Ahmed, which chapters have been done so far in your school? Will you please list down the names of chapters? Yes, Ahmed. आपके स्कूल्स में कौन कौन से चैप्टर्स हो गए हैं अहमद
Sir, in our school, this chapter number 13 is almost done.
chapter number 13
Yes, science, right?
okay chapter number 13 is going on all right
This chapter number 13.
okay so the chapters which are left we will do that in your summer vacation that is in the month of July so the month
Yes,
of
sir.
July is your summer vacation right
Yes, sir.
okay so whatever chapter is being left we will discuss that I mean the chapters which we left in sequence order the chapters which we have left we will try to cover that so chapter number 13 is almost about to be completed okay now before chapter number 13 which chapters have been completed like crop production have been
So
completed.
yes, sir, crop production. I guess so, sir.
Microorganisms. Yeah.
Yes, sir, that's also been finished, and I am pretty sure the they have done the chapters in a order, sir, like one by one.
They
Every
have done
chapter, right?
chapters in order.
Yes, sir, one by one. I guess so. I'm not sure, sir. I'm not sure.
Okay, no, I was looking
I
at your
think,
portion. It was, I think, 1, 2, 3, and 13. There was one more chapter. They haven't done in sequence, I guess.
oh, they didn't have. Okay, okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
and
I might.
Arhan, what about you? Which chapter is going on?
Yes, sir.
Earlier, you were talking about homeschooling.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so homeschooling, you are not going to a regular school
Sir, I went to in 6th class.
in 6th class. Okay, so right now you are having homeschooling. Okay, okay,
Yes,
okay, okay. So there's no foundation of that. Any regard in regard to examination. What is the update in your school?
no, sir, but my parents take my examination once in a while. Every
Okay, 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 okay. I got it. Okay, got it. Homeschooling, as I mentioned, as you mentioned earlier. All right then.
yes,
All right then. Okay, guys. And Ahmed, in your school, in mathematics, square and
Yes.
square roots is going on currently.
Yes, square and square root exercise 6.1.
6.1 is going on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we actually begin with the chapter data handling. That
Oh,
chapter
okay,
is
sir.
not going on.
Yes, sir.